Now, this is leadership. This video is brought to you by The Officer Tatum Store. The Officer Tatum Store. Get the merch link in the description section. Like and subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell so you get notifications. Anytime I go live or make a video, make sure you still subscribe to my channel, like this video, comment on this video, share this video. Let's get into this. Ladies and gentlemen, and ladies, I just love when I see positive leadership from law enforcement. But about time that police chiefs tell the truth. I want them to tell the truth. I don't need political correctness. We are living in a time where political correctness is literally causing people to lose their lives. But seeing this chief, like Chief Brown and a lot of other black chiefs that are out there that they try to suppress, the chief in Seattle, she was prominent. They ended up forcing her out. The first black police chief in Seattle, Washington, got resigned. They pushed her out because of Black Lives Matter. Ain't that stupid? Anyway. You know, Robert Conti is an exceptional leader with just telling the truth. And I don't know what he said before this. I don't know. He could have been a social justice before this. I love what he said here because I think he just said, man, I'm tired of being politically correct. Let me tell the truth about what's going on. What are the real issues and why we're seeing crime spike, why we're seeing violent criminals? It's not guns. He's going to explain to you exactly what it is. Roll the film.
We can take the political route and talk, you know, all of this fluffy stuff. But I'm going to give it to you straight, where the issues are. And where the issues are, the ecosystem, the justice system that we have right now, it is not functioning the way that it should.
I've been saying this for 100 years. Somebody asked me this thing, right? But why is all the crime? It's the system.
The courts are not open. That is a fact. Barely open. So cases from last year, from 2020 that happened during COVID of violent criminals that have not been disposed of. What do you think those individuals are? Anybody want to take a guess? They're in community. They're in community, and their cases have not been disposed of. We have to look at, are the things happening that needs to happen when we do place individuals under arrest? The guy for carrying the gun there, the guy for carrying the gun there. What happens with that case?
Please, thank you. I hope y'all hearing what he's saying. I hope you're hearing what he's saying. I experienced this when I was a police officer. It's not about just a one-off arrest. Oh, I arrest this guy for this big time. It's the little foxes. It's the little things people do before they become massive criminals. They start little. They start selling little dime bags. Then they selling keys. Then they start out a little dealer on the corner working for somebody. Now they the plug. And if you don't know what the plug is, it's somebody who supply massive amounts of drugs to people. They don't do the selling, but they plug you with the drugs for the most part. And so they start out by getting into fights and brawls and gangbanging. Then they got bodies. It escalates. So when these people are perpetrating these initial crimes, they need to be held accountable. When they're not held accountable, they are not going to somehow, because you open a convention center and you have, I don't know, story time for kids, that they're going to somehow change. I mean, let him finish because he said a lot of great things in this.
When it goes through the system, what's the outcome? What is the expected outcome? What does the community expect when a person gets caught with a firearm? What do we expect? Do we expect to see them in a neighborhood in 3 weeks? And if we do, are we saying that that's acceptable?
Exactly. The Puerto Rican Day parade situation, the guy who was the suspect in that had actually did a felony crime. He had arrested for 26 felony crimes, convicted on 70 felony crimes, some of which prohibited possessor, meaning possessed the firearm illegally as a felon. At the parade place where he was the suspect in a heinous crime, he committed another felony in the same intersection.
Because most of the communities that I've talked to have no clue what happens with these cases. They don't. But I'm going to tell you the truth. The real issue is we have a vicious cycle of bad actors who do things, no accountability, and they end up back in community. And the police officers, and I guarantee you, when we lock up whoever did this, they will be no stranger to us. No stranger to us.
There's not, these people let me give y'all some statistics. Let me give you some information because you need to understand this. 80% of the population do not get exposed to police. Police do not interact with 80% of the population, generally speaking. 20% of the population are individuals who police officers interact with, whether it's a traffic stop, whether it's criminal behavior, or whatever the case may be. The violent crime and the habitual crime committers are about 5% of the total population. 5% of the population or less we deal with every single day. We can tell you the first time we arrest a kid that he gonna be back. He going back. Oh, he's out, he'll be back. He's going back to prison because he doesn't care. He have nothing to live for. And the chief goes on to say, and y'all can go look up this video, the chief goes on to say that maybe they don't want a job. Maybe they don't want help. They need to be taken off the streets. Every person who's committing crimes or homeless or drug addicts, that don't mean they won't help. That don't mean they will receive help. That don't mean that they're good people just having a bad day. Some of these people are evil individuals that spend their entire life terrorizing people. I've seen it with my own eyes. There are people that I used to arrest that have been arrested 130 something times. A young kid, he had to be in his 20s on parole, on probation. If he does any violation on probation, he's going to get 25 years in prison minimal. These are two black men that I remember vividly. Any violation of that thing, one guy was 25 years, the other guy was 15 years. The 25-year guy is riding around in a minivan with a stolen gun. I don't know if it was stolen or not, but he was in possession of a gun as a felon with the pill bottle full of drugs. And then that guy could have shot it out with us. Thank God he didn't. Just violation of his probation, he's going back to prison for 25 years. And then you got to add on the stolen gun and the vial of dangerous drugs that he had in his possession. And it's aggravated because he's already on probation. And he has firearms and drugs, which is an aggravated charge. Then another kid stole a car, jumps out the car, runs down the street, got a fist full of drugs. When we pull up on him, he throw him behind his back like he LeBron James. And he was on probation. He violated his probation. He was going to get 15 years in prison. So not only did he violate his probation, he added a new charge. And then he snitched. The whole G code is out of the window. He was sitting in the back of the patrol car when I asked him, did he want to talk to detectives? And he go, I'm not no snitch, but man, I can't do that time. Bro, y'all need to understand these people are fake. They ain't no real gangsters out here. They snitching. Most of the reason why most of these people get caught is because people snitching on them. Snitching. Which ain't nothing wrong with snitching to me. They did the crime. They need to do the time. But this police chief will hit the nail on the head, and he said a whole bunch of other stuff. He got 3 more minutes of him just going in. And I don't want to make this video too long because I want to make it palatable where you can watch it. You can go see the rest of what he said. I'll sum it up for you. He alluded to the fact that the criminal justice system is the problem. It's not the police officers. We only arrest you and take you down there to the county jail. Nobody prosecutes you. You back on the streets. The guy that got shot, I think, outside of Chicago police station or somewhere around there. As soon as he get out of jail, he get ambushed, shot 50-some times. He shouldn't have never been out in the first place. He was on an ankle monitoring system, violated that, went to jail on a felony charge. The guy, I believe it was a felony charge. I could be wrong. He gets out, they put him back on a monitoring system, and he got bad blood, and then he putting the whole public in danger because people are now after him to kill him. I hope people wake up to this, man. I hope people wake up to this. I'm not just saying these things because the white man is telling me. Man, I live this. I grew up in and around the hood. My whole adult life, my whole life leading up to being an adult, my whole childhood life. And then when I became a police officer, I saw these things firsthand. There's a kid, he happened to be black. There's a kid that I arrested. How many times I arrested him? I arrested him 3 times in like 2 weeks. First time I arrested him for 5 felony crimes. he got out the next day. The next day, he's pulling on doorknobs in the community. I get the call. I see him, and I'm like, they're describing this guy. I just arrested him yesterday and gave him a 20-minute conversation about how to change his life around and get his stuff together. He goes, I initially contact him. I'm being cool with him. I'm like, hey, man, let's chat. He takes off running, runs through traffic. He almost get hit by a car. He's not even paying attention. He jumps over the 7-foot wall. It probably was 8 foot. It's a block wall. I think they're building foundation on a house or whatever. So it's one of the walls of the house is like 8 feet tall. He jumps this wall. Embarrassing on my part because the wall ends at the end of the street. I can't jump the wall, so I call out quads and I call out units to support me. That he jumped the wall, he's gone. But he went southbound. Not realizing that the wall ended at the end of the street. Somebody's pointing, and I run down there, and I'm like, the wall is ended. I could have just ran down the wall. He either going to go that way or this way. Anyway, he does all that. He runs into somebody's house. I wish I had this on body-worn camera. The dumbest social justice lady in the world. If I seen her today, I wouldn't cuss her out because I'm trying to be a Christian. And I wouldn't slap her because I don't believe in slapping people and assaulting people. But she is a mess. This kid ran into her house. I get to the front door because he ran through the back, and I'm trying to go and meet him at the front. So I get to the front, and she comes out, and she tells me, you don't hurt him. Don't hurt him. He has a story. And at the door, while I'm chasing this guy, I said, lady, you need to let me in this house. You have no idea who this guy is. He have a story. I have a story. We both black. Why is he a thug and I'm a cop? Let me get this dude. And then finally, the man of the house, which I don't know how much material of pants he wear in the house, he finally come out and say, okay, the guy's in the back room, whatever. And I'm like, okay, let me get this. He's dangerous. He's in your house. So anyway, they finally let me through the front door. He runs out the back. We jump over fences. We jumped on top of a house. We jumped on top of a wall that's in between the two houses. We finally caught him in the alleyway. One of the Hispanic officers, probably a 30-minute conversation, gave the boy his phone number. Said, when you get out of jail, I'll get you some clothes. I'll help you get on your feet. Get your life together. 2 weeks later, I go to a house where some kids are flopping in a vacant house, or it was owned by a lady, but she let people flop there. We go there, I see him there. Run his name, he got a warrant for his arrest for 2 domestic violence crimes. I know it took a lot of time for me to say that, but I want people to understand this. This kid got 5 felonies the first day. He ends up getting out and committed 5 misdemeanor offenses, trying to break into people's houses. Then when he get out again, he beat up his aunt and knocked her window out. So he's now wanted for domestic violence in that case. They don't want your government program. They don't need more funding in the community. They need to go to jail. Yeah, people, we have gotten into a situation where we care more about the criminals than we do the victims. Every time I wake up, they're trying to find a way to mitigate or to give alternative to people who are committing crimes. What are you doing for the people who have been victims of those people committing crimes? What are you doing for them? Y'all always adjusting penalties for pedophiles and different people like that, and you know what? They need rehabilitation and whatever, which is fine. Well, what does the victims get of these crimes? Do they get free counseling and rehabilitation for free? Because y'all willing to give the criminal rehabilitation for free. The person who's victimized by this criminal gets nothing. They can't even get restitution because these people ain't got no money. Thank you, Chief, for saying that. God bless you. And we need to find. I'm gonna find out who you are. And thank you for saying this. Now I may not support you in nothing else, but thank you for saying this, because now it came to my attention. Maybe are you the same chief that we had to call your office and rip your, you know what, to get Officer Seward back in his position? If that's you did good here, but you better get your stuff together. Anyway, I love what he said. I love the leadership that he displayed here. But he need to do it across the board. If that's the right man, I gotta look into it. I think it was this chief. Y'all remember, it was this chief we had to call his office because he tried to play politics and Officer Seward was going to get almost lost his job. Hey, man, I gave you some props here. You better get your stuff together because I think it was you. Anyway, I could talk about this for 15 more minutes, but I keep saying this. I got to get to this Trump rally. I'm going to be late. But I love you guys. Appreciate you. See you on the next one. Visit the Officer Tatum store where you get all the cool merch, man. I don't know how I didn't give y'all discounts and everything, and y'all still don't appreciate it. I'm just playing. Anyway, I love you guys. See you on the next one. I'm out.